know
the federal government taking over the economy. That's really what cap and trade's all about.
You know, if we let this cap and trade go through, if you think you're getting money taken from you now, just wait if that thing gets through.
To tax virtually every transaction that takes place, it's a very, very scary proposition.
Cap and trade is basically built on junk science.
And this cap and trade basically takes all our private property and puts it under the purview and the control of the federal government.
You know, global warming, they've never come up with any concrete proof on it. And as they said earlier, as you notice, they don't call it global warming anymore.
This is the stuff that's really important. So call your local news stations and say, this is important, why aren't you telling the whole story?
It's now called climate change because, as you noticed over this winter, it got pretty cold, we had a lot of snow.
If we're not careful, we're going to lose a lot of our freedoms in this country, and we're going to lose America as we know it.
Give it up. This whole cap and trade thing, does everybody understand what this is? You know what carbon offsets are? Does everybody understand what carbon offsets are? This is a scheme that was dreamed up by some folks, and Al Gore has been taking advantage of this, to where you have somebody, you do something that is spewing CO2, which, by the way, everybody know what CO2 is, right? That's CO2. It's what you exhale with every breath. The little plants around here, they love CO2. As a matter of fact, the more CO2, the greener they get. But we couldn't have that happen. So with the carbon offsets, you spew CO2, and then you pay somebody for spewing the CO2. It's very akin to going and getting a prostitute on Saturday night and putting $300 in the collection plate on Sunday morning. You're cool. You're good. You're taken care of. You can do anything. It's a sin offset. It's the most ridiculous thing that ever came down the pike. And that's what this cap and trade deal is. It's the same thing with utilities and companies. What happens is you have a utility that is emitting CO2, right? Well, they have spent billions of dollars in the technology to convert carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide and all the things that are pollutants, and to transfer them and turn them into CO2. They've spent billions of dollars over the years doing this. And so the folks that want to limit industry and limit development and limit everything else, they're the ones who have said, well, now, good gracious, what we're going to do, they have found a way to get rid of the toxins. We're going to have to find a way to limit the stuff they've turned the toxins into. So what they came up with was a cap and trade deal. And what it means is if you're a utility and you're emitting CO2 into the air, then what they're going to do is cap how much of that you can emit. And if you want to go over the cap, you're going to have to pay somebody who's not emitting CO2 or hasn't reached the cap yet. So what that means is your utility company, TVA in this case, which generates for Nashville Electric, is going to have to pay some guy with a windmill somewhere. And so what happens when he pays the guy with the windmill? He has to jack up your rate to pay for it. This is money above and beyond what it costs to generate the electricity. And so when we go to cap and trade, when they go over and the cap is low, I mean, they hit the cap very quickly. That's why they're estimating that your electricity bill will go up as much as 90%. Just take your electricity bill and double it, essentially. They're saying that gas prices could go up by as much as $5 a gallon. Not up to $5 a gallon. What is it today, $2.75? Add another $5 to that, and that's what your gas is going to go up to, or could go up to, under cap and trade. Not to mention all the CAFE standards and all this other stuff they're doing, and that's going to cause everything else to go up. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is government intervention on steroids. And these people are taking our money everywhere we turn. We got the bailout from GM, AIG, the bank bailout, cap and trade, everything else. When will it stop? It stops today. It stops with you people calling your elected officials and saying, enough already. Stop with this taking of our money. Stop with these taxes. And you know what they're coming up with now for the Obama health care thing? A value-added tax, like they have in Europe. You know what that is? That's a tax on every step of production for everything that's made, whether it's a pencil or a car or whatever. They're going to tax it every step of the way. In other words, the wood that they buy to make the pencil, there'll be a tax on that from the pencil company when they buy the wood. The lead, the eraser, the metal that goes around, everything will be taxed at every level. And then, of course, then there'll be a tax on that at the end level too, and they'll be passing that along to all of us. They can't get enough money. We are spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that we don't have. And cap and trade will take more money out of our pockets. At the same time, they're taxing us higher to pay for all these trillions of dollars that we can't pay for. It is time for this kind of madness to end. This is serious business, and the folks from Americans for Prosperity are going across the country sounding the alarm on this thing. And we have to support them. You go to americansforprosperity.org and you can help. Somebody was asking me, who's sponsoring this and how can I contribute? There you go, americansforprosperity.org. Go to their website and help these people out. They're going across the country trying to keep our prosperity. Now, we're all at varying levels of prosperity, but we're all going to be lowered in prosperity if this kind of madness continues. We have to fight back. I see Ben Cunningham here from the Tennessee Tax Revolt. He was out there. We were honking. How many of you folks were honking horns with us several years ago against the state income tax? You can do it. People have said, how do we get involved? This is how you get involved. We had maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people at any one protest, and they changed the trajectory of this state as far as the way it taxes its citizens. If it hadn't been for you people coming out and honking horns and getting involved, we would have a state income tax. Same thing with this. The rest of the folks who are watching Oprah or whatever they're doing today, and I know a lot of people are working and couldn't be here, and we understand that, but the folks who are not engaged, those people who are not paying attention, are just going to get swept along like everybody else. We're the ones in the forefront of this movement who can stop this kind of madness from happening. And look, whether they know it or not, they're depending on us. Because these people out there really don't know what's going on. They'll know once the cap and trade passes, once their electricity bill is doubled and their gas price goes up, then it's going to be too late. So it's up to us on the front lines to keep this movement going, to keep the phones ringing at your elected officials, and to let them know no to cap and trade. Do I have your support? Yeah! All right. We got another speaker or two, and then I know the kids are just chomping at the bit to get on that big balloon and go way up. How far does it go up, Tim? We got to be careful with the breeze, but we're going to let you go up a little bit and come down. It's really an amazing thing. So appreciate your support. Listen, keep on this issue and keep tuned to the radio at 99.7 WTN. We will keep you informed of what's going on. But go to americansforprosperity.org and help these people stop this cap and trade before it gets passed in the Congress, before we know what's going on. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting this movement. Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
At Americans for Prosperity, we focus